Moviegoers have spotted a blooper in Oppenheimer. Christopher Nolan's latest film, Oppenheimer, has become one half of the box office and pop culture phenomenon Barbenheimer, sweeping up glowing reviews along the way. But eagle-eyed fans have spotted a mistake in a scene set in 1945, as Cillian Murphy's J. Robert Oppenheimer stands among a crowd waving American flags, bearing the wrong number of stars. It was good and all, but I'll be that guy and complain they used 50-star flags in a scene set in 1945. Twitter user Andy Craig wrote on Friday, in 1945, the American flag featured 48 stars, as Alaska and Hawaii hadn't yet become U.S. states. It wasn't until July 4, 1960 that a 50-star flag was first flown, and the U.S.-owned Twitter user had a theory. I can argue that this is done intentionally, as the colored scenes were from Oppenheimer's perspective, while the black and white scenes were from another. This would be a memory of Oppenheimer from his present-day memory, which does have 50 states on the flag. The film depicts the events of Oppenheimer's life, flitting between his days as a student in the 1920s, his time overseeing the development of the nuclear bomb during World War II, and the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission committee hearings in 1954 during the McCarthy era, in which he was stripped of his security clearance due to his associations with the Communist Party. But in another scene set in the same year, the correct American flag flies behind Oppenheimer. The film depicts the events of Oppenheimer's life, flitting between his days as a student in the 1920s, his time overseeing the development of the nuclear bomb during World War II, and the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission committee hearings in 1954 during the McCarthy era, in which he was stripped of his security clearance due to his associations with the Communist Party. The film depicts the events of Oppenheimer's life, flitting between his days as a student in the 1920s, his time overseeing the development of the nuclear bomb during World War II, and the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission committee hearings in 1954 during the McCarthy era, in which he was stripped of his security clearance due to his associations with the Communist Party. Barbie called this in, didn't she? Another Twitter user joked, referencing the fact that Oppenheimer's release date coincided with Greta Gerwig's Barbie. Coming in behind Barbie, Oppenheimer opened at $80.5 million in the U.S. over the weekend, according to ComScore. Both movies essentially doubled predictions from weeks ago. Paul Dergarabedian, senior media analyst at ComScore, said, "It's unprecedented to not only have two films do so well, but also to help each other with the Barbenheimer trend." Dergarabedian said, "Intriguing facts about The Shawshank Redemption. Released in 1994, The Shawshank Redemption tells the story of a banker named Andy DeFrest, who is sentenced to life in prison for the murder of his wife and lover, although he claims to be innocent. The film follows him over the decades, highlighting his experiences in the prison and the relationships he builds along the way. Upon its release, the film didn't do nearly as well as expected, although it went on to be nominated for 7 Academy Awards and is now regarded as one of the greatest films of all time. Check out these lesser-known facts about The Shawshank Redemption. Although it may differ from many of King's other works, The Shawshank Redemption is actually based on King's novella, Rita Hayworth and The Shawshank Redemption. The story was one of a collection of 4 novellas titled Different Seasons, with 3 of them being turned into films, including The Shawshank Redemption, Apt Pupil, and The Body, Stand By Me. King sold the film rights for his novella for $5,000, although he never cashed the after purchasing the rights from King. Director Frank Darabont was offered $2.5 million from Rob Reiner to hand over the film's rights. Although it was a tempting offer, Darabont ultimately turned Reiner down, claiming that it was his chance to do something really great, and he was ultimately right. Under Reiner, the film would have taken a totally different direction, as he wanted Harrison Ford and Tom Cruise to play Red and Andy respectively. Nobody is complaining that Darabont held onto the film. In King's novella, Red is described as a middle-aged Irishman with graying red hair. In order to fit the profile, actors such as Clint Eastwood, Paul Newman, Robert Redford, and Harrison Ford were all seriously considered for the role. However, Frank Darabont always saw Morgan Freeman as Red for his natural demeanor and voice, and made the executive decision to hire Freeman. To honor King's original character, Darabont added, "Maybe it's because I'm Irish." When Andy inquires about Red's nickname, in the film, the elderly man Brooks, who works in the prison library, has a pet crow, because they were working with a live animal.